Welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you had a good day in the market. Market was up again today. But I wanted to talk about some of the sales we made today, as well as something called an ex-dividend date. We're going to talk about that a little bit and just talk about some strategy that we use when we're trading, why we trade a certain way, and what we try to do. What's our goal? So we're going to talk about those things as we go forward here. So let's jump in and take a look at some of the things that happened today in our portfolio as far as what we did there. So let's go ahead and jump over there to our portfolio and take a look at. Let me talk to you about the sales we made today. All right, here we go. All right, so we did make a couple sales today. First sale was actually sold MPC today. Let's go ahead and pull that up. We sold MPC today. Had a good day. It was up most of the day, almost all the day, I guess it was. Sold that one for $59 today. We were in that one at a price of $57.28. So we sold that one with about a 3% gain. We've been holding it since the first lot I bought was $115. So about a month's time, we made 3% on our money. That's going to beat those CDs at the bank all day long. So we went ahead and cashed in on that. Also sold another stock, NVAX. But before I talk to you about NVAX, I want to talk to you about something called ex-dividend date. You see here on this chart here, the ex-dividend date for MPC is February the 18th. That ex-dividend date, that's just telling us who's going to get paid the dividend, okay? And the way that works is on the ex-dividend date and beyond, it's the person that's holding the stock, okay? Like for instance, I sold today before the ex-dividend date, so I will not be getting the dividend, that quarterly dividend. That dividend is going to go to whoever is holding the shares on this date or past that date. So a lot of folks say, well, why would you sell before the ex-dividend date? You're fixing to get paid a dividend. Well, let's do some math on that. You see this dividend here is 4.09%, the yield on this per share yearly, okay? So you're figuring about maybe a percent quarterly. These things go up and down a percent all day long, every day, and up and down, up and down. So to sit there and base my trades off of dividends, payments, and things like that just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to buy a stock and hold it for a dividend. I don't buy stocks for the dividend. There's a lot of folks that do that, and they think it's great. You're getting paid a dividend. Well, if your base is going down, it doesn't really matter if they're paying you a dividend. And another little thing people don't realize, this probably has been going up a little bit because the ex-dividend date is coming up. So people are wanting to be holding that stock and everything when that dividend gets paid. All right, they want to at least be holding it to the ex-dividend date. So if they're holding it to that ex-dividend date, they're going to get paid that little percent for that quarter or whatever. But this thing's liable to go down 3 or 4% that day. That's one thing I've noticed is when after the ex-dividend date hits, you'll see a lot of times it looks like people are getting out of a stock because they are the owner of record. So they're not worried about holding the stock anymore. Next thing you know, that stock's going down 4% or so, in a day because all these folks are getting out. That happens sometimes it doesn't. It could be news that comes out, anything, but I just don't buy and trade stocks based off of anything to do with the dividend. It's just not the way I do things. Now, there's people that love those dividends and they'll buy those stocks because it pays a great dividend. And if you're going to buy and hold, that's fine, I guess, especially if you reinvest. That's probably not a bad idea, but just not the way I do things. I'm holding sometimes stocks that pay a dividend, and I'm glad when I see that dividend money come into my account. But I'm not basing any trades off of that. So, all right. So that's what I want to talk to you about MPC and that ex-dividend date. We did sell another one today, so we actually made 2 sales today. The other one was that NVAX that we had bought for 712, I believe it was, and we sold out of it today at 750. This thing had a pretty good day. I was really impressed with it. Again today, it had a good day on low volume. As you can see, the volume here was lower than normal, but it had a really good run up in the morning. Let's get that chart and let it come up here, but had a pretty good run up in the morning. So I did sell at 750, somewhere around in here. So I sold around in there. It did go up to a high of 769. As I always say, you don't pick the highs, you don't pick the lows, and that's okay. My goal this week, as I mentioned earlier in the week, is to try to get a couple of sales in before close of business Wednesday. And guess what? We did it. So this week we're good. Made a couple sales. We can get another one in. That's great. But going to have to buy something that's going to be getting in a buy range here in the next week or so. So I'll be looking for some purchases the next few days, trying to make some purchases in the meantime. So, but we did that. I don't hold stocks on purpose. My goal when I buy a stock is to turn that stock around to money. You know, I want to sell that thing as quick as I can, and that's why you see me take these 3% and those 4% on the money, especially in a month's time. If you do that 4 or 5 times with that same amount of money, that's compounded interest, and that it's just like any other compounded interest. That can equal out to a lot of money. So we don't sit here and worry about holding something for a whole year to try to make 6%. If I can make 3% in a month, I'm going to do it. My goal is 6% if I'm holding something for like a year. I'm going to try to make 6% on that. If I'm holding something for 2 years, I want to try to make more than that. But it just depends how the year was before as well, because you can adjust those things based off what you did in the last year. So anyway, we sold that. Timing's everything when you sell and when you buy, and I don't have perfect timing. And if anybody tells you they do, they're telling you a story. So don't worry about that. We can't get hung up on that, that buying it right at the low and selling it right at the high. Just doesn't happen that often. I also want to talk to you another thing about, why I don't worry about, selling the stock and thinking, well, it might go up. I talked about Tesla the other day, where I bought it at, I think it was 280, sold out at 319. That's about a 14% gain in less than a year that I had that, I believe it was. So I was thrilled to death to take 14% winner on that. But as you know, Tesla has skyrocketed since. So, in most people's mind, you've missed out on a lot of money, which, you did because you didn't hang on to it. But I want to show you this one here, one that's in our portfolio. It's ACB. We've talked about it and traded it. If you'll recall, I believe it was, let's see here, 209 that we sold out of that just last week, I believe it was. If you'll take a look at this stock now, let's just go ahead and look at the 5-day chart. You can see it's had a terrible run here. It's gone down from 209 all the way down to 145, 146 range. That is a 30% drop in the price of that share. So there's a lot of times, that stocks will go on up after you sell them, and you might miss out on another 10% or 15 or even, it could be 200%. You never know what these stocks are going to do. But it also works the other way. You see here, we sold out at 209. Now this thing's down 30%. If we'd been holding this stock, we'd now be down probably close to 25% or so. So it works both ways. You've got to be, disciplined, and you've got to pick your, where are you going to sell? Or is 3 or 4% good enough for you in 2 weeks or something like that? So that should always be good enough in my mind, 2 or 3%. If you can get something better than a CD in a matter of weeks, why not do it? Why not do it? Take that money. I'm a trader / investor. Like I said, I only hold it until it makes money. I want to hold it till it makes money, and then I'm going to sell it. You know, I'm not the buy and hold type that's going to hold it until, you know, I'm buried 6 feet under, and I'm holding the same stock I bought, you know, when I was 20, 30 years old. So that's just not the way I do things. I like to hold it till it makes money. That's the goal. Go 6%, like I said, but I'm going to take these 2 to 4% all day long. You know, if it's a short time period, I'm all about taking that money and being happy with that money, and not being frustrated when I see these things keep going up, or, you know, thinking I made the greatest move out of the room and I see them go down. All I want to do is make some money, you know. So if I sell, I'm making money in most cases, because I usually don't sell them when they're down. They're going to sit in my portfolio till the cows come home, you know. So that's a good saying, that I just, you know, unless they go out of business or something like that, you're not going to lose. These things will turn around in most cases. We'll talk about some other things that can get you later on, like reverse splits and things like that. You know, reselling of shares that companies does sometimes to dilute your shares, but in most cases you're not going to run into that. That if you got a decent stock to start with, you know, you're not going to run into that. If you hold it and be patient, these things turn around. Look at the charts. Just go look at the stock charts. You'll see them all doing this. Some of them are doing this all the way up to a higher price, and that's the kind, really, if you can get on those kind, you're definitely not going to lose, because it's heading in the right direction. So look at the trends, look for those plateaus to buy at and things like that. But other than that, that was a good day today. We did make those sales. I'm going to be looking, this one here today on the ACB. It actually started out in the green, you see here in this little chart, and then it just kept falling. So it still has not found its bottom yet, down another 5% today. One of those that I'd like to get in on, but I'm not going to get in on it too early. I've got to see this thing settle down before I start buying any shares. And when I get in it, it's probably not going to be a huge portion, because we just don't know where that thing's at yet, with the waiting on UCO. But here's some good news. A lot of times when these companies change CEOs or fire one, it's when they hire another one, they'll get a boost in the stock, especially if it's a well-known, good CEO of some sort. So that's something to look forward to on this one. If we can ever settle, you know, start maybe buying some and getting invested in that one. Portfolio today, 3 out of the 3 up, 4 down, some kind of flat, but nothing to worry about. Let's go ahead and look at the market for tomorrow. Let's see here. You see the Dow futures are down 83 points. S&P down, NAS down. So as far as tomorrow, it looks like we might start out in the red again. As always, this can change by tomorrow. Let's take a look at our oil. Oil is green, so we got a little kick in the oil going on there, so that's good for our oil stocks. We did sell the MPC today, so don't have to worry about that one anymore. Asia looks like it's pretty flat. I mean, it's mostly green. Let's look at the U.S. market today, and it was 275, 21, 8702. They're all records, so it was a great day. You can't beat that. We'll take that. But we're going to, you know, had several days in a row that's good, so it's understandable to see a little pullback. Well, we'll just deal with that if we have to tomorrow. Maybe a good opportunity to buy, so nothing wrong with that. All right, so what we'll do in the morning, we'll be looking at some of these stocks. Maybe this ACB will settle down. We can maybe can purchase if we see a good plateau, and maybe even a trend up towards the end of the day. That'd be nice. Don't really trust that one yet. But we want to get a good purchase when we make one, so we can possibly have a chance to make some money on Friday. So that's going to be the game plan, to look for anything that's an opportunity. Like I said, right now the market's had 3 good days, so it's going to be hard to find something that's in a good spot. But we'll look for it, and if we see something, we'll definitely jump on it, because we definitely need to buy something so we can have a possibility for next week sometime. But anyway, appreciate you watching the videos. Had a lot of views last night on that first video that we put out last night, and I appreciate that. Please continue to like the videos, subscribe to the channel. If you've got any friends that want to learn anything about investing, tell them about my channel, and hopefully they'll join in as well. All right, other than that, you guys have a great day tomorrow. I'll check back in tomorrow night with you sometime, and we'll tell you what we did or didn't do. And other than that, have a great day at trading.